Good morning and happy Bank Holiday Monday if you're in the UK. If you are in the UK, it's the last bank holiday until Christmas, which is a scary thought. It's quite early on Monday morning, but I'm wide awake. I've been awake for ages. So as you can see, I've come down to the studio to collect some threads that I need to carry on stitching. So this is what I want to progress a little bit further. This is the bird, the outline of the next bird I'm going to use for filming. And, you know, I was stitching and stitching in the car as it got darker and darker and darker. And I could only manage this because this is an enlarged pattern with Perlé 8 thread. So I need to do a little bit more of this today. And I've done a little bit more of the frost hare and I'm actually quite liking it. What I need to do is, so I'm looking down at it, I should be showing you it. What I need to do is get a little bit of this marking pen out, but actually it's not bad, and a lot of my reservations are a bit unfounded. I'm quite liking the colours now. Because with this hair, where the hair is, on some of the fabrics, this might be on a paler bit. There's one coming in here, because I can't control the print on the fabric. So I've put in fact, if I do it that way round, look, you can see there's a lot of land, there's the tree. I've started to put in some stars, the moon, some of the hair. So as you see it more on the back, but on the front, it does actually, you can see it glistening. It's just so hard to show you on the camera. Can you see there? I don't think it's glistening at all, is it? But so that's all been done, and if I just show you up here, there's a star here. It's probably too hard to see. Is it too hard to see? There's a star here, and there are 5 stars around the design. So again, going to the back, I've put in, oh, I've only done 2. I've done 2, and there's one here, and one here. So I'm aiming for an afternoon of stitching and then hopefully getting this done and hopefully getting this out to stitchers. I like big tasks, and I've got another idea that's been in my sketchbook for about 18 months, 2 years. I can't quite remember when it was in. Do you remember, if you're in the UK, there was a sycamore gap tree, that's what it was called. It was on Adrian's Wall. It was where 2 hills came into each other. Very famous tree. It's been used in the Robin Hood films and all sorts of other films like that. And it was cut down. And when it was cut down, I did a lot of drawing, sketching of that tree in my sketchbooks, thinking it would become something one day. And when I was thinking about the autumn hare, because I've got a spring, summer, and winter hare. So like people are now going, oh, will your autumn hare be out for this year? And I'm like, no, probably not. I thought about doing a hare in front of that sycamore gap tree. And I thought I'll marry the 2 ideas up and it will work. But when I started to draw them out, it's not working because there are 2 focal points. So if you imagine you've got the focal point of the beautiful tree and then you've got the hare at the bottom, and it just didn't work. So I'm now thinking I might do that tree as a separate design and call it Forever Autumn or something like that. So what I've got, and I should have brought them down. Hang on a minute, let me just go and get something for you. If I can reach it, I'm not sure I can. Can I get it? Oh, I'm just trying to, I don't know if you can see me or not, but did you see me or did you have it? No, I don't think you did see me. Right. So I've asked Zoe, thinking about this design, I've asked Zoe for 5 of the colours from her Maple Leaves pack. So we're going to have the very bright one and just an autumnal colour, so the tree will be quite impactful. And I'm going to see what that will look like. So that will be out for test stitching as well. And the people who were on the list to do the, which one didn't I like? The passion flowers, I might offer that to you first. So I really do need to get my act together and get this list, to get this group of the focus group going but I just need to do that, don't I? So that, I'm hopeful that might be a kit as well, and if that is the case, then I will have had, I think, August, September, October, 3 new kits in 3-4 months. See, Mark says that I should just plan to do one a year, but my brain doesn't work like that. I get ideas and I get so excited about them and I get so fizzy about them that I can see them as kits straight away. Whereas others, like the passion flowers, the idea has been around for maybe about 2 years, and it doesn't excite me. And I think if it doesn't excite me, it's not going to excite anybody else and who might want to do it. And I was trying to get excited, I really was. I was trying to decide whether to stitch them again to a sort of stone wall background or a brick background or a fence. You know, I was trying to get myself excited, but it didn't work. So that's why we had summer hair, and that's why I think we're going to have this tree called Forever Autumn, and the background is going to be sort of very much like that in a U shape to reflect the landscape. And I've got some really nice thread that's sort of beiges and browns variegated, and I thought that'd be quite nice because then everybody's will be different, but also I want the tree to be the star of the show. If it's going to be in some of these bright threads, I want the tree to glow, and I think I'm going to use detached chain stitch and just in the pattern have sort of 5 clumps really of colour where the colours will intermix. Think about a Venn diagram, you know, where the circles overlap. So you've got a circle of one colour, a circle of another. Then in the centre of that, you've got the 2 colours mixed. So I think it's going to, sorry, it's gone on the floor now. I think it's going to look a little bit like that. But watch this space, I might have to rein myself in, I don't know. So this is going to be my progress, and I will come back to you later and show you what I've done on day 7. I've just taken a phone call from my dad's friend, and he's been having a nosebleed for 4 hours, and he's on warfarin. He's refusing to go to the hospital and he's not very well. So my whole day has now changed. I'm driving back home to Mark. I've already called him. I'm driving back home to Mark, then we're driving over to Nottingham and potentially going over to QMC, the hospital. I'm not sure, but my plans have radically altered, so I'm not sure if I will get any more filming done today. We'll have to see. So I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to go and sort him out. Hello and welcome to day 7 part 2, the last day of my the last day of my making week. And actually I've shared a lot of what I've done with you, and I'm really pleased about the progress I've made on the butterflies. We have had a little hiccup, but what I did do was I took this with me, and you may have seen maybe a few vlogs ago my potential hat with this yarn pom-poms attached to it. I actually took this and actually got a hat cast on. It's not made much progress, look, but at least I have started it. So that's an unexpected win in my making week. So this is actually ready for Friday and the car ride up to Durham. This is just 4-ply held with drops silk mohair. So not my colours, but well, the pink isn't, but I fell in love with the yarn. So that was a quick win, really. I've not done much other knitting, but I don't know, sometimes you just have to cast on something, don't you? And this has been on my list to start for quite a long time. I would like to do the DK socks as well, but the reason I grabbed this is because my DK, I can't even remember what they are. I think they're 3.5mm needles. They're all in a very safe place and I can't find them at the moment. So that's why I went for this. So this is the only woolly bit of progress I've done over on day 7. But as this grows, I'll sort of show it to you. So I'm going to pop this back in the pouch, in the pouch it's in. And I've just popped this in, not one of my handmade ones, but in this I think this one was from last year, Shetland Wool Wig, I can't remember, but it's quite a nice sturdy pouch for the car. So I'll put that over there. I have decided, and I think I might have told you this already, that I'm fairly happy with how this looks. And I think I've spoken to you about this at the studio. Everything just went a bit haywire, so I think I've spoken to you about this, although it's not had any stitching on it from when I last showed you. So that will be coming in the car with me because it's a very small portable project. The butterflies are not small and portable, so I'll be able to do this in the car, and I'll be able to alternate between stitching and knitting because we think it's going to be about a 4-hour journey. So should make progress on both of those two things, because I'm seeing Luke in London on the 11th of September. Big Girls Knickers on. I'm going to London all by myself, which I think, yep, it's fine. And then I have a wobble. Then I think, no, it's going to be fine. So I'm going down to see him to finalise the butterfly and moth book. And then hopefully after that, we should be almost at the point of going to print. So the bigger design won't be in the book, but hopefully I can take the frost hair and he can photograph it for the cover. If we need to use my big overhead ring daylight light, then he'll have to come up here and do it. But hopefully if it's a nice day in London on the 11th of September, we can do what we've done before and just drawing pin it to a bench and he can take the photo because the light is good. So not check the forecast for that day, but I hope it'll be pretty good. So that, what's that give me, about 10 days to finish it? And it is actually nearly there. It's not going to take that much because it's going to come out to test stitch. I've already spoken to Luke about a potential other kit, and I'm waiting for Zoe to send me some threads as well. I don't know if I've spoken to you about that. I should really have checked, but I've just jumped into filming to finish off day 7. One thing I haven't stitched on is the larger moth that's designed to be a cushion or something, which is this one here. Oh, I think I have shown you this, but this won't be cast stitching because this will be stitched with this perlé. That's not perlé, ignore that. This 50 weight cotton thread. It's an Aurifil one, but it's actually coming off. Can you see how it's coming off the cone? That's how it's coming off, but it's got this big loop here, and it's always there, that loop, and it really makes it impossible to use it in the sewing machine. I keep thinking I should just wind off loads of bobbins until I can get rid of this loop here, because it just messes it up hugely. But this is a sort of bluey grey colour, and that's what I'm going to use for the background of this. But really I've got to use about a size 10 needle for this, and I just can't thread size 10 quilting needles in the car. No matter how good I am, I just can't do it. So I've learned thin thread in the car doesn't work. So this needs to get some love, but it's not going to immediately. I also need to figure out, I've got some really big rickrack and I need to paint that grey or dye that grey. It might even be a synthetic one, in which case might be a polycotton rickrack, in which case I could use dispersed dyes. What do you call them? I call them dispersed dyes, but I know there's a more common name, where you paint paper, then you iron the colour onto the fabric, those ones. So hopefully this will be a cushion ready for Ali Pali. I'm still waiting for some fabric from Makawa, but when that comes in, I'm going to have to stitch a cushion sample, and that should have been here by now, but mine still hasn't arrived. So I purposefully not called them so that it's sort of off my radar for a bit. I have been thinking for the future about what I want to do for a moth one. and I don't think there's any way I'll get this done for October. So I think my foot's just spasmed out and hit the stand. But what I'm thinking is that I am going to do another one like this, and timescale for the moth one is probably November. That sounds a bit soon, but definitely for next year, because the new book will be on sale for next year as well, to have one of these for the moths, but make it a bit more gothic-y and have a Celtic ring maybe in the centre. And while I've done the background in green for the butterflies, just to remind you, I might do all the Celticness in black. So potentially, you know, a Celtic ring in the centre and not, you know, Celtic knot design in the centre. Maybe things coming down with the moths on. So it kind of looks the same, but it has a different flavour to it. But maybe not for the autumn. Maybe, you know, just finishing this one and is enough. And actually in a week, I'm actually really proud of this, because I didn't think I would get this as far. And I think it is because, and I think I've said this before, it's because I've been showing you. So since I last really showed it to you, I've put the outline of the red lace butterfly on, and nearly the outline of the morning cloak. That's maybe only half there, look. There's a bit of work to do on that. So the only butterfly that I've actually done absolutely nothing for, I don't know if you see this, it's this corner here. And it's the swallowtail. And in fact, this is quite, the pen is disappearing quite quickly because I used quite an old one, but it is there, the swallowtail. That's the only one that's got no stitching on it whatsoever. And as I said, I've got to infill them, but I'm hoping that, you know, as I've only got to infill, I could take this with me next week to see if there's any, this weekend, I could take this with me to see if I get an hour or so in the hotel room. I might get some time on Friday evening, maybe Saturday morning, maybe Sunday morning, I'm not sure. I don't think I'll have much time, so it's quite a big piece when I know I don't think I'll have much time to stitch onto it. So in all probability-ness, it's probably better to leave this one at home and stitch on it here. But I have managed to do so in September the Zoom was put back from it was put back to the 13th from the Friday the 6th, and now I don't have to go to Manchester, so the Zoom is back on our normal Friday. I'll chat about this, but I will also do a separate post. So in September we're not having our Zoom on the 13th as is on the list. It's going to come back to the first Friday, which is the 6th of September. I'm sure it's the 6th of September, the first Friday of the month. And I know there were a few people that said they couldn't do the 13th, so it's back to the, I want to say 6th, but I feel I have to check that, the first Friday. So that's when those of you who want to come to the Zoom will see this. If you don't come to the Zoom, I will be doing a monthly roundup, a monthly diary in September, so you'll see this in September as well. So thank you for allowing me to share my stitching week. I'm going to continue doing this, but with other stuff coming in that I have to stitch, I'm not sure I'm going to give it as much love as I want to. If I could, I'd just want to spend a whole week stitching this. Somebody asked me if I was logging how much time it takes to stitch this, and I never do that, because if I start to write down the hours, I'm then going to stress if some weeks I only do an hour on this, because I know the way my life is. This week I've done loads on this, but other weeks I'll have to do more writing, more admin, more travel. So it's never going to be the same, but I have made really good progress. So thank you for joining me in my making week. I hope you've enjoyed it. And hopefully I will see you on the Zoom on the first Friday of September. Take care, everyone. Bye.